Here's something surprising about 2026 that almost nobody talks about. Seniors over 60 are now the fastest growing group adopting AI tools in the United States, even faster than people in their 30s. Yet most seniors still feel like technology is sprinting while they're walking with a cane. It's a strange paradox. The tools are here, more accessible than ever, but the fear of falling behind remains real and deeply personal. Before we dive in, take a moment to hit that like button. For senior-friendly channels like this, it's more important than you might think. Early engagement tells YouTube to share this video with more people who need it. And if you want more empowering tech wisdom without the confusion or frustration, make sure to subscribe to Wise Tech Seniors. Your future self will thank you. Now, imagine a man who had always been cautious around technology. He kept every tool he ever owned, not because he needed them, but because they reminded him of a time when things were simpler, predictable, and built to last. That man, Eldron Miles, 74, retired railroad engineer from a quiet town in Ohio, viewed AI as something intimidating, intrusive, and designed for younger generations. But in 2026, AI is no longer distant or abstract. It's quietly in your car, your phone, your bank alerts, your pharmacy reminders, even in your medical appointments, often without you realizing it. Eldron didn't notice either, until one small moment changed everything. This story isn't just about AI. It's about how fear can turn into curiosity, how hesitation can turn into empowerment, and how technology, when used wisely, can restore confidence, independence, and connection for seniors in ways they never thought possible. Our story begins with Eldron Miles, a 74-year-old retired railroad engineer from a quiet town in Ohio. He's tall, soft-spoken, and still wears the same leather wristwatch he bought in 1974. He loves things that click, lock, and turn with a little resistance, the kind of tools that told your hands what they were doing instead of guessing on a screen. His garage is lined wall to wall with manual wrenches, oil cans, railway memorabilia. Not because he uses them every day, but because they remind him of a world where machines stayed the same for decades. Learning something new didn't require passwords, updates, or terms of service. And people trusted technology because they understood it. But Eldron had a belief many seniors share. Technology today is too fast, too confusing, and definitely not made for people my age. And when it came to AI, he felt like the whole world expected him to suddenly become a computer genius. Like many seniors, Eldron believed, tech companies don't explain things clearly. Digital scams are getting harder to spot, and AI might make life easier for the young, but harder for him. He wasn't angry, just tired of feeling left out of a world he helped build. But here's the truth about 2026 that Eldron didn't know. Most seniors are already using AI every single day. They just don't realize it. Not in complicated gadgets, but in everyday things. The pharmacy text that reminds you your refill is ready? AI. The fraud alert from your bank that catches unusual spending before you do? AI. The car that warns you when drifting too close to the lane edge? AI. Medicare's new 2026 system that predicts medical needs and prevents missed appointments? AI. Even his old smartphone, the one he said he hated, used AI to block spam callers and enlarge text automatically. Eldron had been using AI for years without knowing it. But everything changed one ordinary Tuesday morning. He woke up to a snow-covered driveway and a sharp ache in his lower back. Shoveling snow wasn't an option. He opened his phone to check the weather, something he rarely did, and a suggestion popped up. Would you like to schedule a snow removal service near you? He didn't ask his phone. He didn't search for it. He didn't even know his phone could do that. But with one tired tap, help was on the way. And for the first time, Eldron realized AI wasn't here to replace him. It was here to support him, quietly, gently, and exactly when he needed it. That single moment didn't make him an AI expert, but it cracked open a door he'd kept shut for years. A door that would soon change the direction of his life. The alert that changed everything. It began with something so small Eldron barely noticed it. The heart monitor patch his doctor in Ohio recommended during his last checkup. To him, it looked like nothing more than a fancy sticker. The kind hospitals use when they want to make something sound more complicated than it is. But what he didn't know was this. In 2026, these patches are one of the biggest lifesavers for older adults. They use AI-powered microsensors to track subtle changes in heart rhythm, the kind even well-trained doctors might not see during quick appointments. These aren't futuristic gadgets from a sci-fi movie. They're real, FDA-approved tools used across the United States, especially for adults over 60 who want early warnings instead of late-night emergencies. Elderon didn't care much for the technical talk. He wore it mostly because his daughter insisted, and because arguing with her took more energy than just sticking it on. But then came the morning that changed everything. He was making his usual cup of black coffee, the same brand he'd bought for 40 years, when his phone buzzed. Not the usual vibration from scam calls. Not one of those "your package is delayed" messages. This buzz was different. Short, sharp, urgent. Moments later, his phone lit up with a message from the clinic, followed immediately by a call. At first, Elderon almost ignored it. He'd spent the last 5 years dodging unknown numbers like they were traps. But this call didn't sound like a telemarketer. It was his actual clinic speaking calmly but seriously. "Mr. Miles," the nurse said, "your heart patch detected an irregular pattern. It's not an emergency, but we'd like you to come in today." Elderon froze, not from fear but from disbelief. This wasn't science fiction. This wasn't some pushy tech company. This was real medical AI doing exactly what it's built to do. Catch problems early before they become dangerous. On the drive to the clinic, Elderon stared at the patch through the fabric of his shirt. He had worn tools his whole life. Heavy tools, loud tools, tools you could feel in your hand. But this tiny, quiet device, this almost weightless patch, it somehow knew something about his body before he did. And for the first time he wondered, if a little patch can protect me like this, what else have I been afraid of for no reason? That question didn't leave him for the rest of the day. Because deep down, Elderon realized something seniors across America are discovering in 2026. AI isn't here to replace your wisdom. It's here to extend your life, your independence, and your peace of mind. The fears seniors don't talk about. Let's be completely honest about something most people avoid discussing. The real fears seniors carry in 2026. Fears that don't show up in surveys or polite conversations. Fears that sit quietly in the mind, unspoken. There's the fear of losing control, especially over the devices that now control everything from appointments to banking. There's the fear of being fooled by scams, especially the new AI voice clones that can copy a loved one's voice almost perfectly. There's the fear of pressing the wrong button on a phone or computer and accidentally deleting something important. There's the fear of devices listening, recording, or watching without permission. There's the fear of looking clueless in front of younger people, especially those who seem to swipe and tap through life like it's second nature. But the biggest fear, the one that keeps many seniors awake at night, is this: what if AI replaces human interaction? That fear is heavy, it's personal, and it's understandable. The world has changed faster in the last 5 years than in the 20 years before it. Seniors didn't grow up with this technology. They were expected to adapt to it without guidance, patience, or respect. But here's the part almost nobody says out loud. In 2026, AI is no longer being built to replace human connection. It's being built to protect it. AI has quietly become one of the strongest safety nets for older adults across the United States. Hospitals now use AI systems to catch early signs of stroke, infection, or overlooked symptoms, reducing misdiagnosis for seniors. Pharmacies use AI to cross-check medications, lowering the chances of dangerous drug interactions. Banks use AI to instantly flag suspicious transactions, stopping scams before money leaves an account. Modern cars use AI to prevent collisions, detect drowsiness, and automatically brake when a pedestrian is too close. Smart homes use AI sensors to detect falls, send alerts, and even turn off ovens when left on too long. Insurance companies now use AI to simplify paperwork, meaning fewer confusing forms and fewer office visits. Senior centers use AI-powered companions to reduce loneliness by helping older adults stay mentally active and socially engaged. These technologies aren't replacing seniors. They're supporting them. Quietly, faithfully, and often invisibly. Because whether people admit it or not, the generation now over 60 built the foundation of the modern world. AI is simply helping protect that generation so they can enjoy the future they created. And Elderon Miles, stubborn, proud, old-school Elderon, was about to experience another moment that would challenge everything he believed about AI and shift his fear into something he hadn't felt in years: confidence. The drive that nearly went wrong. A few weeks later, Elderon's son, Marcus, called with an invitation he couldn't refuse: a ride in his brand new 2026 Buick, specifically designed with advanced AI safety systems for older drivers. Elderon had always loved driving. The quiet hum of the engine, the feel of the wheel in his hands. But in recent years, he had started to worry about slower reflexes, blurry vision, and the small mistakes that could become dangerous. As they drove down the familiar country road, Elderon was chatting about his work on the railways decades ago, sharing stories of signal towers, freight schedules, and the long nights on the tracks. He felt at ease until a subtle drift toward the shoulder caught his attention. Not because he noticed it, but because the car noticed it for him. Without a single warning sound, blaring alarm, or jolting correction, the Buick's lane assist AI nudged the steering gently back into the center of the lane. Elderon felt the wheel subtly guide him, almost like a gentle hand on his shoulder, and realized he hadn't even felt the slight veer happen. He glanced at Marcus, who grinned and said, "Dad, that was the car. It prevents accidents like that now." For Elderon, it was a revelation. He had always associated AI with complicated gadgets and intrusive notifications, but here it was invisible, intuitive, and protective. This technology wasn't replacing him. It was supporting him. Modern AI in vehicles in 2026 is no longer an experimental feature. It's saving lives, particularly among seniors who are statistically more at risk of accidents due to slower reaction times, reduced night vision, or minor cognitive lapses. Features like automatic emergency braking, lane keeping, collision warnings, and adaptive cruise control are standard in many models. These systems detect risks in milliseconds, often before a human could even blink. Elderon's mind raced as he thought of friends who had reluctantly stopped driving. Many of them felt trapped because of fear of accidents, fear of losing independence. But this AI wasn't taking independence away. It was giving it back. Seniors could drive longer, safer, and with more confidence than ever before. As the Buick rolled down the winding road, Elderon noticed something else. The car also adjusted its speed smoothly, read signs accurately, and even suggested safer routes around heavy traffic. All of this, he realized, was AI thinking ahead, like a co-pilot who never sleeps, never judges, and never interrupts. By the time they returned home, Elderon felt a mix of awe and relief. This single drive had shown him a truth he had been missing. AI doesn't replace human capability. It amplifies it. It protects, preserves, and empowers seniors in ways that previous generations couldn't even imagine. That night, he sat in his favorite chair, sipping tea, and thought, maybe technology isn't something to fear anymore. Maybe, just maybe, it's a partner, one that quietly watches over him, ensuring he can enjoy the freedom he's earned without compromise. A voice from the past. Weeks later, Elderon's granddaughter, Lila, came to visit. She found him sitting at the kitchen table, staring at a small, worn cardboard box filled with old cassette tapes, the kind that smelled faintly of dust and memories. Elderon's hands trembled slightly as he lifted one, labeled in his wife Miriam's neat handwriting. He sighed, frustrated. "These tapes, I can barely hear her voice anymore," he muttered. The recordings were muffled, distorted, and nearly gone, like echoes trapped behind a wall of time. Each play was a struggle, a reminder that moments, once lost, were often gone forever. Lila knelt beside him, placing a hand on his arm. "Grandpa, we can fix this. There's a new AI tool that can restore these recordings. It can remove noise, enhance clarity, and bring voices back, just like they were." Elderon looked skeptical. He had spent decades avoiding fancy tech. To him, computers were confusing, AI was futuristic, and apps seemed to promise more than they could deliver. But Lila's confidence, her gentle insistence, made him pause. In 2026, AI audio restoration is no longer experimental. These tools use advanced machine learning algorithms that analyze sound patterns, distinguish human voices from background noise, and reconstruct even tiny imperfections without altering the natural tone or emotional warmth of the original recording. What used to take hours in a professional studio, and sometimes failed entirely, now takes minutes at home. They carefully inserted one of Miriam's tapes into a simple AI-enabled recorder. Lila followed the instructions on a tablet, tapping a few buttons, selecting Restore Voice Only, and letting the program work its magic. Moments later, the tape played, and Elderon froze. There it was. Miriam's voice. Clear, warm, gentle, soft, familiar laughter. The little pauses she always made. The rise and fall of her sentences. It was as if she had never left. A piece of the past restored in vivid, almost miraculous detail. Elderon's eyes welled up. He realized something profound. Technology hadn't replaced the past. It had brought it back. This tiny AI tool, simple and quiet, had restored not just sound, but emotion, memory, and connection. For Elderon, the lesson was immediate and personal. Fear of AI was often rooted in what we don't understand. But when used thoughtfully, AI doesn't take away history. It preserves it, protects it, and even enhances it for generations to come. That evening, Elderon shared the restored recordings with Lila, listening together and smiling at familiar stories. His fear didn't vanish entirely, but it softened. A small, quiet curiosity replaced it. He began to wonder, what other treasures could AI reveal? Memories, skills, or moments he thought were gone forever? And more importantly, he realized something every senior should know in 2026. Technology isn't the enemy of memory or independence, can be the keeper of both. By the time Lila left, Elderon was no longer just skeptical. He was curious, cautiously excited, and ready to see how AI could continue to support his life. Safely, respectfully, and meaningfully. The truth about AI in 2026, what seniors should know. Now let's break down the part that matters most to you, the seniors of 2026. This isn't hype. It isn't prediction. These are the tools, features, and breakthroughs happening right now that are transforming everyday life for older adults across the United States. AI in healthcare. AI has quietly become a guardian of senior health. Devices now monitor speech patterns and word choice to detect early cognitive decline, sometimes months or even years before visible symptoms appear. This early warning can make a huge difference in planning care and maintaining independence. Smart home sensors and wearable devices predict falls before they happen, sending alerts to loved ones or emergency services. In 2026, these tools prevent thousands of injuries each year among adults over 60. AI-driven medication reminders ensure that seniors never miss a dose, lowering the risk of hospital visits caused by simple mistakes. Telehealth platforms now use AI to explain instructions in clear, senior-friendly language, avoiding the confusion of medical jargon that has frustrated generations. AI against scams. Financial safety is another area where AI is quietly protecting older adults. Banks automatically flag unusual transactions on senior accounts, often before the account holder even notices. AI tools detect voice clone scam calls, recognizing even subtle inconsistencies in tone or speech patterns. Phones and messaging apps scan text messages for signs of fraud, helping seniors avoid phishing attacks without needing technical expertise. AI for daily life. Daily tasks that once caused frustration are now simpler and safer. AI can read small print aloud, perfect for seniors with vision challenges. It identifies faces in old photos, making it easier to organize family albums or revisit memories. AI simplifies complicated documents like insurance forms, government letters, or healthcare instructions, saving hours of confusion. Many devices now learn your speaking style and adapt to you, not the other way around. Commands are understood the first time, notifications are relevant, and technology finally feels intuitive. AI for emotional well-being. AI is no longer just practical, it's also compassionate, Video calls and messaging platforms now use AI to keep seniors effortlessly connected with family and friends. Companion features provide mental stimulation and gentle social interaction for those who live alone. Most importantly, AI gives seniors control and independence, letting you decide when, how, and to what extent you engage instead of taking choices away. This is not science fiction. This is 2026 reality. For seniors who felt left behind, frustrated, or fearful of AI, the truth is clear. Technology isn't here to replace you. It's here to protect you, empower you, and help you live more fully. And for Elderon Miles, who once thought AI was complicated, impersonal, and intimidating, this knowledge didn't just change his routines. It changed how he viewed the future, his independence, and his ability to enjoy life with confidence and dignity. By understanding these tools, seniors can finally embrace technology without fear, turning it from a source of anxiety into a lifelong ally. Elderon's transformation. By early 2026, Elderon Miles won't be the same man he had been a year ago. The cautious, skeptical, slightly fearful retired engineer had undergone a transformation that went far beyond learning a few new gadgets. AI had quietly become his partner, assistant, and safety net, reshaping daily life in ways he hadn't imagined. Now, his mornings started differently. His health schedule was managed automatically. Reminders for medications, upcoming doctor visits, and even gentle alerts for hydration. Where he once worried about missing doses or appointments, he now moved through his day with quiet confidence, knowing AI had his back. Insurance paperwork, which had previously been a source of anxiety, was no longer a headache. AI tools simplified complex forms, highlighted what needed attention, and even read instructions aloud when he felt unsure. Elderon felt empowered. The power wasn't just in understanding the paperwork, but in reclaiming his independence. Even technology that once intimidated him, like phones and smart devices, now served as a shield against scams. Fraudulent calls, phishing messages, and suspicious financial activity were automatically flagged, giving him peace of mind and protecting his hard-earned savings. One of the most emotional breakthroughs came in the form of restoring memories. Old recordings of his late wife, family photos scattered across decades, and even faint audio from his grandchildren's early years were revived with AI. Listening to Miriam's voice clearly for the first time in years, Elderon felt a mix of joy, nostalgia, and awe. Technology had returned pieces of his life he thought were lost forever. Even around the house, small physical tasks became easier. Lights, temperature controls, and minor chores were automated, reducing strain and keeping him safer. AI didn't replace his capability. It enhanced it, letting him focus on what truly mattered: experiences, family, and moments of meaning. Soon, Elderon's friends began turning to him for guidance. They noticed the confidence in how he handled devices, managed schedules, and even mediated tech concerns. It struck him profoundly. Seniors do not fall behind technology. Technology finally caught up to their needs. By the time he reflected on his journey, Elderon understood something essential. AI did not replace his independence, it strengthened it. AI did not take away his control, it gave him more of it. AI did not pull him away from family. It reconnected him to memories he feared were gone. And the biggest shift of all? Elderon realized that AI is not something to fear. It is something to use wisely, safely, and on your own terms. For seniors across America, 2026 is no longer about catching up. It's about stepping forward with confidence, curiosity, and the reassurance that technology can finally work for them, not against them. By embracing AI, Elderon had not just transformed his routine. He had transformed his mindset, his independence, and his connection to life itself.